Well, this certainly throws a jolt into the campaign and into the election for sure. I think anyone who has been watching Trump and following his actions during the course of the pandemic, the fact that he has been hosting and going to large gatherings, he has not been wearing a mask. We know that those things certainly increase the risk for someone to contract COVID. So the fact that he did, I guess, should not be too surprising. But the news certainly was a surprise for most people, I think, this morning. It's unclear how the future of the campaign will look for Trump. He and the First Lady will need to quarantine for at least 10 days. So all of the upcoming rallies, events that they had planned will need to be canceled or changed to virtual. It's in question if the second debate will take place in the same format. It's also just uncertain how the leadership of the country will move forward if he does in fact get quite sick, as we saw with Boris Johnson. And we've also seen a pretty big jolt to the markets this morning already, just with the uncertainty that this situation puts the U.S. into. Yeah, well, there's certainly the events or the effect on the campaign itself in terms of those event cancellations. But there's also just the bigger narrative that, Trump has really spent the last 6 months, including into this week at the debate, playing down the threat of the virus, saying that this was something the U.S. was already past, that clear days were ahead. So this diagnosis will certainly undermine that message for both his critics and his supporters. So that's just going to be crucial going forward. And it will also keep the news cycle focused on the pandemic, which is something that Trump is always trying to deflect. He would pretty much rather talk about anything besides that issue on which he's had very low approval ratings. So in terms of how it will affect the election, just by the way it's going to put this front and center, it certainly will.